Hello, hello. One second. Hey K2, how you doing? On this fine evening. It's a full moon tonight, and it seems like every single gosh darn motherfucking full moon is cloudy here, so I can't even see it. So I just got back home from the wedding, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can see the moon. I'm so excited. And then I pull out my phone and start trying to see if I can take a picture, and the clouds are moving in front of the moon, and it's cloudy again. So I got to see it though, so I'm excited about that. The wedding was so nice. It was so lovely. It was. Okay. Wow. Now TV Bixby is trying to be like, excuse me. Oh. I was like, where's my remote? I'm sitting on it. Tired. I feel that. I actually fell asleep on the way back in the car. So, thank you. It was like, was it yesterday? Maybe it wasn't yesterday. I feel like it's almost been like a blast from the past. And of course, like I went to go see an old friend from school, but I forgot to get a wedding card before. So I went back, or I stopped by the store on the way to before we headed out of town. And I saw an old friend that I haven't seen in a hot second. And we actually like talked. I haven't talked to him in person since I came back home, basically. 3 years ago. Wow. Yeah, it's been about 3 years since I talked to him. And then I went and I saw a few people there. Um, of course, that I used to talk to or whatever, and it was nice. It was interesting. Everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, like, how have you been?" And it's like there are so many people doing so many things. Um, but yeah, it was nice. It was gorgeous. There was a cow that would not stop moving until it did. um, yeah, and then like there was a little, I guess it was a pond, um, in the backyard, and there was a spot with like a bridge, and it was gorgeous. Some of the trees were in like full oranges and reds and burgundies or maroons or whatever. It was really nice, and I got to see a friend I haven't seen in a long time, and her husband, who I've met a handful of times, but I also haven't seen him in a long time. And they hadn't seen each other in person in a long time. So, yep, it was the bovine background singer. The Knight of Cups, the Four of Pentacles, Temperance, and the Lovers. Okay, I'm just going to put these back. I don't know. I guess I'll pull a few cards for the full moon. Eight of Wands at the bottom of the deck. I'm going to start with the Dysology, and then I'm going to move on to the Crow Tarot, because why not? I'm feeling it today. I'm feeling a little brave. But besides that, excuse me, I'm looking forward to tomorrow, I guess. It's weird. But there aren't too many of them left. So, I mean, there will be plenty of tomorrows, but tomorrow's here. Who knows? Yep, there are still leaves. Still leaves on trees here. Death and the King of Swords. Death came out, the King of Swords is on the bottom. And the King of Swords shows Saturn, which is interesting. Oh, snap. When does Saturn go direct? Because when Saturn goes direct, I'll be heading for my third return. It's been interesting. It's definitely like I'm definitely glad for all of the preparation that I did up until this point in my life. Definitely feeling that so many things have made it not necessarily easier. Well, yeah, for sure, it's made it easier. Um, but I feel like it's also given me a sort of sense of sight, maybe throughout it. So it hasn't been as bad as it could be. It's been gorgeous in some ways. It's been really beautiful in some points, and definitely challenging throughout, but always, always, always worth it. One second. Oh, all of yours are gone. I'm kind of surprised that there aren't more trees that have less leaves. Because it seemed like, at least here, there are a few trees that are like fully changed color. There are some that are starting to change colors, but it seems like most of them are still pretty green. And I'm like, yeah, but the program people. But let the trees have their colors while they have their colors. Let me not rush the season. So I got the Crow Tarot. I got the Diceology. We'll just see what comes up. We'll see what comes out. I might use the Crow Tarot book because I don't think I've actually used the book. I want to see how I feel about it. I've only used this twice. Oh, cards keep flipping over. Back of the deck with you. Oh gosh, another one just tried to flip over. Okay. So, full moon, almost said new moon. Full moon Aries, full moon Aries. Okay, K2. No problem. I hopefully won't be on too long tonight either. Because I definitely, that was quick. Okay. How am I doing this? Oh, wait. I know how I can do this. No, wait. Actually, I don't. The card at the bottom of the deck is a card that was flipped over inside of the deck. And I just thought maybe I had left it face up. Um, but, oh gosh. And onto the floor. This one went on the floor, said, "You ain't just putting me back in the deck this time. You're keeping me." Oh, where'd you go? It's the Nine of Pentacles. Oh, and look, it's the wolf. Okay, I feel like I'm being stalked by the wolf, but that's fine. I can get down with a wolf. We love wolves. The wolf, the butterfly, the sun, Page of Swords. So the card at the bottom of the deck is the Ace of Spades, which I think is the man, but it could be the woman. It could also be the ring or the sun. So basically, I don't know. But I am going to look it up really quick. Well, I feel like I should just have like a page bookmarked by this point. Oh, here we go. The Ace of Spades. Hold up, wait, are you not? No, this is not what I wanted. You are not what I was looking for. This is what I was looking for. Yes, Ace of Spades is the woman. Okay. Blooming Rose. Is that a thing? Is everybody tired? Raise your hand if you're tired. Hey, Steph. Happy full moon. How you doing? Yeah, I fell asleep in the car on the way back. I was like listening to something on my phone, and then I woke up and I was like, "Whoa!" I don't even remember when I stopped listening. It has you exhausted. Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. I feel that. Excuse me. So the bottom of the deck is tapping into the seed of all creation, understanding what predates all and things that must remain in the dark. The card that came out is prophetic dreams, inspired action, and tapping into the other side. So we got tapping into the other side on one, and then tapping into the seed of all creation on the other. It's interesting though, and it's like things that must remain in the dark. So you would think that the card that came out would be darker. But the crow is standing on top of this wolf. The wolf has established itself as, or the wolf first established itself first as being on the other side of the veil. So now that we're in this space, oh my gosh, why is it like, oh, it's Nathan. Oof, oof, oh my gosh. That's fine. Excuse me. Oh, snap. Oh, I bet it feels good outside too. Crisp autumn breeze in the hammock. The butterfly is here, which is cool. I was gonna say cute, which is cute because the butterflies have so much. The butterfly and the wolf are two animals that have come out a lot. The wolf being the one that waits on the other side of the veil, the butterfly being that symbol of transformation. But it's a butterfly that is flying. This is a butterfly in midair. Butterfly body, butterfly mind. It speaks to a new alignment. It speaks to, um, I want to say, a letting go of the past. Why does this feel so like Jupiterian Neptunian though? First time knowing of what it was. Excuse me. Yeah, I was saying like when I came home, it's the first time it's not super cloudy on a full moon. So I feel like it was the first time I was able to actually see the moon when it was full. And I get out of the car, like I could see it all the way on the way home when I wasn't asleep. And we pull into the driveway. I get out the car. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like gorgeous. I pull out my phone and then I see the clouds like moving in front of it. So I got to see it. All right. Have a good night. I don't know if there'll be. Ooh, snap. Excuse me. The Ace of Cups. There were like things like this at the wedding. And then there were like at the tables, there were three little candle thingies, like floating candle thingies that when they touch water, they light up. But if they don't touch water, they don't. And so I don't know if it was like flower petals or something in the water, like under the water. But I guess one of the candles, it was like it was touching that instead of the water. So like it wasn't wet enough. So it wouldn't light up. And then she like moved it and it did. What's interesting though is like there's a lot of fire behind this Ace of Cups. See this? And then behind the Ace of Cups, fire and water has been a thing for a hot second. Temperance came out with the Lovers earlier. It was Temperance and the Lovers, and then some other cards I don't remember. Excuse me. Was it really at this time? Well, glad you're still here, Steph. And I'm glad that things have improved in some ways. And I hope they continue to improve in the rest of the ways. Aww. Well, thank you, Steph, for being a part of it all. And thank you for sending me that Alchemy of Astrology. Actually, the Alchemy of Astrology, the Wild Unknown Alchemy deck and guidebook. In honor of you, I am going to throw one of these cards on it. And we're going to see that antimony doesn't pop out because we already have a wolf. We don't need another. Excuse me. Ooh, a year later, oh my gosh. It seems like, for me, like it was so much longer ago. But also, that might just be because of the past 2 months of my life that felt like a year by themselves. So, yeah, we're glad to still have you. Excuse me. With us. Excuse me. You might get one. What? The Alchemy of I keep saying the Alchemy of Astrology. The Alchemy decks? I thought you. Do you not have one? Maybe not. Oh. I'm like, there we go. Prophetic dreams, inspired action, tapping into the other side. Tapping into the seed of all creation, understanding what predates all and things that must remain in the dark. And it's also interesting because in this Ace of Cups, there's the bird that's like descending, looking like it has a sun in its beak. Or it's got something. Maybe it has the 10th coin. Because here's the 9 of coins. But it's a coin that hasn't been like branded yet. See, there's no star on it. There's no pentacle. Is that like a blank check? Oh, okay. Excuse me. I don't know why I thought you had it for a second. But yeah, I remember you getting the archetypes. We're getting a blank pentacle. Things that must remain in the dark. Is that a 70? I think that's 75, actually. I just want one of these, please. I love Kim Crans. Kim Crans. Excuse me. But yeah, I don't know if it's the full moon in Aries energy per se, but it's like it's been so. I guess it's like it's been the past has resurfaced in a way, kinda, but without the attachments to it. It's just like, oh, I remember when like this, or I remember when that. Especially like a lot of these Purdue weddings, like when I was in school, I was not who I am today. And so it's interesting. It's almost like, in some ways, it's like it's interesting being in a situation where I can be more of the real me because I was going through so much like mentally when I was there. I was like barely in the game. But yeah, it doesn't feel like it is like the past, but it doesn't necessarily feel like it. I don't know. Ooh, I've seen this card on Shayna's channel, I believe. Numa, breath. Numa is number 36. We got a 36 9. The bottom of the deck, of course, is Skin to Lie, Sparks of Light. This is a card that appears often. And it's number 46. Yeah, 46. 36 and 46. Let's read the book. Oh, there's 35. Numa, inspiration, presence, and life force. There is no more direct way to practice alchemy than to study Numa. We all have access to the mystical phenomenon known as the breath. It occurs at every moment, gracing us with the gift of existence upon the physical plane. If alchemy, as is suggested in this book, is the merging of physical and mystical, then this card serves as our ever reliant bridge. It is the magical within us, the expanding and generating life force that animates our life. This card may appear simple, but it is not. No matter how advanced you are in studying the breath, if you heed the message of this card, you will find it has more to teach. Bow to it at this very moment, and you will discover the work revitalizes itself. New space opens. Numa is your lifelong alchemical ally, stating its love with every inhale and exhale. Excuse me. These long, exaggerated breaths called yawns. Full of those tonight. So that's Aries this fire. We got 9 pentacles, an ace of cups, Numa being the breath. I guess the breath is kind of sort of more ether life. It literally said life force. And then we have the sparks of light at the top. It's interesting that this full moon isn't really revealing. It doesn't feel like it's really revealing anything. I think a curtsy will do just fine. Where is this full moon? Like, what degree is it in? Oop, there goes the mouse. Bye bye, mouse. Summary? I wish I could like tap 3:56 p.m. I'll just see where the sun is. Duh. 16 degrees Libra. And Venus is at 13 degrees Libra. Interesting. Because if I go to the aspects list, yep. Yep, 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 yep. Yep, 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 yep. Yep, 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 yep. So it should also be, yeah, it's conjuncting. Hold up. Those aren't my aspects. The transit list is what I'm looking for. Yeah. It's conjuncting and opposing. Interesting. 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 Excuse me. Jupiter is as bright as the moon. It's too cloudy here. Well, I guess I can go look again. But like as soon as I got home and I was appreciating being able to see the moon, the clouds rolled in. Yeah, I don't know. Oh yeah, because you're a few hours behind. It felt like it got dark quick today. Like I was like, yeah, summer is definitely over because the sun is already gone. So I think this pentacle is the 10th pentacle is being forged. Like this is the pentacle in the sun, and so like it's being heated up, right? The crow is bringing it from the sun, and it's about to dunk it in the water. And then the air that goes into the billows or whatever is the breath. Oh, I look. The flowers that are at the feet of the wolf, they're in the water. But this is really well. I guess that's the thing, though, right? Is that the thing? Because like this is really light for it being like. Well, I guess it's not because the scintillized sparks of light behind the sparks of light is Pluto. But these sparks of light are here, so maybe it is like because tapping into the seed of all creation, these cards are almost literally showing us how pentacles are made. And so I guess like I would assume or would have assumed that the other side would be darker. But if that's the space where all things are created, then it's like not necessarily. Prophetic dreams, inspired action, tapping into the other side. So the prophetic dreams, it feels like something is being communicated. And then the inspired action is the follow through. Like the dream is message received, the action is like action taken, and then tapping into the other side. It almost reads like a faith type of energy, but it's different. Something's been revealed. I can ask you. I'm going to look before and after the high priestess just to see if I can see. Oh, maybe I should look before and after the Queen of Cups instead. Because then, we'll do the High Priestess. That's when I see it. Okay. The Lovers, the High Priestess, and the Hanged Man. 6 times 11 divided by 11. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. Temperance was out with, and then we have the 5 of Swords on one side, and then the Hierophant on the other side. These two fives. And then the Wheel of Fortune is behind that 5 of Swords, being a 10. I'll read the Hanged Man. How we go from no majors to like all majors? Well, tapping into the other side. So tapping into the seed of all creation. And then the breath is here, which is our bridge to the spiritual. It was so nice seeing my friends today. That's the one thing I don't necessarily like about just like waiting until weddings, though. It's because, like, especially when it's their wedding, then we can't like talk and catch up because they have to like do that with everybody. I'll definitely have to go see her. There's a friend weekend coming. I feel it. Why am I? This is not what I was looking for. I'm looking for this. The Hanged Man is the element of water and Pisces. It's Neptune. The Hanged Man is Neptune. And we have prophetic dreams here next to the High Priestess. The Hanged Man, delay, letting go, waiting, waiting to decide the element of water. The crow hangs from the blossoming cherry tree, allowing his wings to fall in complete surrender. He stays still, leaning into the position and allowing the blood to rush in to nourish his brain. Away from the raucous noises of the roost, he has let go and is at peace. It is in the silence he will discover the answers he needs to help move a project or desire forward. The Hanged Man asks that you put the situation or plan on pause so that you can look at it from a different angle. There may be a vital element that you are missing, and the result may be a longer delay. The Hanged Man may suggest getting away from the situation both mentally and physically so that you can recharge your energy and approach the issue with a renewed vitality. This card may also represent a project put on hold due to an external force out of your control. The only course of action is to wait patiently. And there's the reversed Hangman, and we didn't get the Hangman reverse. So that's fine. What's interesting is, though, as the Hangman is typically depicted. Wait, what? We'll do stuff. The Hangman is typically depicted as having that around his head, right? I have other decks here, but I don't know if any of them, none of these are necessarily traditional. As having like the halo-y sun thing behind his head as the blood's rushing to his brain. That's this thing. This Lover's card is interesting because it feels like there's this like mirrored and mirroring energy towards the bottom, but as you go up it feels like we start to see more differences. Also, it's like the snake that is sometimes depicted in the hangman tree is like, here's the one snake, you got the moon on one side, the sun on the other side, but down here, because their heads are touching, that one feels more like a mirror. Oh, look. On the moon of the high priestess, the 10th pentacle, or what that pentacle will become. It feels like there's an opportunity to. I really want to use the word interfere. It's almost like there's this default thing that's going to happen. Like that pentacle is going to be branded. Oh, snap. The lovers are in the exact same position as in this Ace of Cups. So maybe when that pen falls into the water, the heart. There's a reason why I don't use these. But it feels like there's an opportunity to almost interfere. Because it's like this is what that pinnacle is going to become if nothing is done. With the Hierophant here, it feels like something is being handed over, and then judgment is behind the Hierophant. So 6 times 2 is the 12. We had the 2 5s that made the 10, and the 10 times 2 is the 20. But here's judgment behind the Hierophant. I was going to say, oh, and look, there's Pluto. There's Pluto right under the sparks of light. Um, what was I going to say? It feels like with this Hierophant, like this key is being given to these crows. There's a heart in the lovers. In judgment, sometimes it's more justice, but judgment being the resurrection associated with the underworld. Mayat or Mat with the scales of Anubis, if the heart is lighter than a feather. It feels like this key is being given to these two crows. And then the Hierophant is pointing like upward. Is it pointing up towards this judgment? Who knows? But this feels like these cards are like I guess it's not weird. I was gonna say it's weird. It feels like there has been a judgment process sort of running or a test. of almost like what choices and decisions we would make given certain circumstances. Because the high priestess is looking at the lovers. This is like when the things that are in the dark, where we think like no one else is watching or listening or whatever. It's like what we do in those moments is a real test of our character. And the high priestess was watching while we were in the space of making those choices and decisions. And it's almost like, even if with the hangman too, it's almost like maybe we were put in spaces, or we were put in positions where things were intentionally challenging and difficult. But it was like to see what choice we would make. With the Hierophant handing over the key, with this blank pentacle being delivered to the one who made whatever choices and decisions when no one else was around to look but God, universe, spirit. It's well deserved. What does this mean? I don't know. But apparently, the Aries full moon is bringing it out. Of all the full moons, Aries, right? So, what's the Scorpio full moon going to be like? Let's see. What's the energy of the Scorpio full moon? A school of glimmering fish spotlight a sunken treasure, the rising of a new continent. The bottom of the deck is a swaying tower that is moments from toppling, clouded vision and burning lands, a powder keg. Nine of spades, three of diamonds. I'm just curious. Full moon Taurus. Oh, it's a lunar eclipse, isn't it? It's the Nine of Cups. Bottom of the deck is the Page of Cups. Is that the 10th cup for this Nine of Cups? Oh, and then look, the fish that highlight this sunken treasure. Maybe this fish takes the crow right to it. The Five of Cups is behind the Nine of Cups. With the Four of Cups behind that, the Four plus the Five of Cups being this Nine of Cups. And the Four of Pentacles is here. The Four of Pentacles came out earlier under that Four of Cups. Let's see. Full moon, Taurus. Please. I just saw antimony. Let's flip this upside down so I don't see the cards. Full moon, Taurus. Full moon, Taurus. Ooh. Oh. Fell on the floor. Bottom of the deck is Volte Faciem. It's number 48. The Despicable Face. Volte Faciem. This lunar eclipse is intense. But the card that came out is red. I think it's like, oh, it's sanguis, blood, and it'll be a blood moon. It'll be a full moon, lunar eclipse, blood moon. Oof. Well. So let's enjoy the full moon vibes while we can. Let's enjoy this cool full moon before the next. This almost makes me think of the siren because of this. But there are a whole bunch of these in the Volte Faciem card. Let's read that one. What was that, 48? What is hidden, unaccepted, and changed? The despicable face is never seen. Rather, it is kept in hiding to save outward appearances. This card appears when something below the surface wants to be witnessed in order to be transformed. Full Moon Scorpio transformation, what's below the surface? Wait. Everyone has their own version of the despicable face and their own reasons for assuming it is an abomination. It could be a buried resentment, an insecurity, or a physical characteristic that holds us back from expressing our true self. Remarkably, once revealed, it is not despicable at all. It is human. It is interesting. What once was thought of as an error becomes an asset on our journey of alchemical transformation. This card connects us to others and to humanity as a whole. Through acceptance, we lift the veil of perfection and reclaim our energy. Honesty and acceptance are the balm that heals the most tender of wounds. And then this Five of Cups right under the Page of Cups. And the Wild Unknown. In the Spirit Keeper's Tarot, the Five of Cups is the grotesque. And the grotesque is the despicable face. It's the things that we don't talk about. It's the things that we hide from others that cause us, in some ways, the most isolation, separation, and the most grief. But they're the very things that make us who we are. It's what makes us special. It's what makes us unique. So, since I ain't used it in a hot second, and because the Nine of Swords is a blood moon in this deck, as it is, I'm going to look before and... Oh, this is the wrong version. No, it's fine. I still grabbed it. It's still the same. Oh, look, the moon is at the top. So it was meant to be. I'm going to look before and after the Five of Swords, or Five of Cups. Oh, that's the Eight of Pentacles. And then we'll I Ching it. Oh. Archangel of Mysteries is at the bottom. Things that must remain in the dark. Okay. So it's the Three of Wands, Sun and Aries, and the kindred Three of Cups, Venus and Cancer. The Three of Cups and the Three of Wands around this Five of Cups and the grotesque. The angel is on the other side, which is Temperance in this deck. And it's all the mutable signs. So I'll read the grotesque real quick, just so you can get it in her words. This Five of Cups. Where are my books? Oh, here they are. Hey, Book of Maps, Vitruvian edition. There we go. And the fives, the grotesque. A cloaked figure holds a wilting dahlia with two of its petals falling. Here, the dahlia is a talisman for navigating a major life change, one where the change is uncomfortable and unsettling. Though there can be an ominous undertone to the dahlia, we also see a symbolic stand-in for Dahlia, the goddess of fate. Note that Dahlia also manifests in other cards of the tarot as a dog or swan. At the cloaked figure's feet, three overturned chalices spill forth water, blood, and oil. Blood. The sanguis. And oil. The spilled chalices also represent expended blood, sweat, and tears that have yielded no fruition or meaning. Yet behind him, which the figure cannot see, are two intact chalices. The figure faces a rolling stream originating from a waterfall over cliffs in the distance. On the other side of the stream, I think this Five of Cups is the same. Yeah, this Five of Cups has that. The stream from the mountain in the distance. Wow, okay. All right, no problem, Steph. Have a good night. I'll be going to bed here pretty soon, too. On the other side of the stream, stones are in the formation of a pentagram. Oh, that's these. And that's funny. It's funny because, again, this is the unstamped pentacle. Okay. In the formation of a pentagram, like the one patched to the back of the figure's cloak. The pentagram is the shield of David, symbolic of spirit ruling the four elements of fire, water, air, and earth. Spirit being the breath. And is therefore emblematic of the master craftsman with mastery over both the physical and spiritual realms. Storm clouds and lightning form in the dark skies over the mystic sea. The lightning is reminiscent of the thunderbolts from the tower. Note the cloud to the very right side of the sky is reminiscent of the Four of Chalices. And here, with the cloud again and this cup, is the Four of Chalices. The 4 and the 5 under the 9. Interesting. The figure is cloaked as if intentionally hiding his appearance. The implication here is that of a figure who is odd or unnatural in physique, who was born with a trait that might not be acceptable to society. The spirit occupying this card is one of distortion and design. The spilled chalices hint at the disfigurement. Here is a spirit of the strange and mysterious, the fantastical and the incongruous. The grotesque is a spirit that can bring discomfort and yet is gifted as one of the most powerful interpreters of the arcane. The shield of David is emblematic of the grotesque because it represents power, control, and mastery of the craft that is so formidable that to the lesser it is grotesque. Those born different and not yet empowered by that difference can call upon the grotesque for support and guidance. I thought, well, yeah, that's it, but I thought it more clearly mentioned whatever. Maybe it was just that part. But that's the volte facium, the despicable face that's hidden. Right? Those born different and not yet empowered by that difference. So I guess that's what we got to look forward to in the next one. Interesting that these cards are already at the bottom for illustrative purposes. Um, no. Ooh, the magician. Interesting, interesting. A swaying towers at his moments from toppling, clouded vision. That clouded vision might be. Oh, and it's a 9. It's the 9 of spades, though. Oh, the 9 of hearts is right below the 9 of spades. 9 of hearts, 9 of cups. I already shuffled it. But the 9 of cups was the card at the bottom. A blip of light at the heart of a black hole, progenitors in a primordial pool. That clouded vision, that swaying tower. I think that's the grotesque. Because when the grotesque realizes and is empowered by that difference and no longer hides, there's a presence that they hold. And there's a power in that presence. So it's definitely going to be facing the self in some way. The Three of Cups and the Three of Wands. The kindred and the politic. In the SKT, the Three of Cups is the three wise men coming together with the staffs of the past, present, and future to receive a single prophecy as they gaze into this fire of some kind of divination. And the Three of Cups, each of these priestesses gaze into their own cup. So they each receive a different vision. But the fire is shared between the masculines. And the Three of Cups was behind that Four of Pentacles. So this is interesting. For those butterflies, feels like things are about to get really interesting. And for those who are not yet butterflies, it seems like the Taurus are the full moon. Yeah, full moon Taurus lunar eclipse is going to bring an opportunity to become a butterfly. If not something completely different. Maybe a moth, because of the grotesque. The discerning one, Mars and Aries, Two of Wands, Two of Scepters. There's our last card with the Keeper at the bottom of the deck. The Keeper is the fool who's made the journey from magician to the world, who has taken what she needs at every step along the way, and who is basically a major arcana herself at that point. We see that the last two roses from the Seeker have bloomed in the top right. I forget who that is. We got three doves here. Or crows, since we're dealing with the crows. Well, the crow is the one on the hand. I think that's the annealer. I'll read it. And then I'm going to sleep. The Keeper is the astral self in communion with God. Through paneled doors, the Keeper readies to cross a threshold and meet the annealer, who appears near translucent to the Keeper prior to crossing that threshold. The annealer is an alchemical beneficent spirit. In alchemy, the process of annealing is to take metal or glass, heat it, and allow it to cool methodically and gradually, so that the process itself eradicates internal stresses in the material and thereby strengthens the metal or glass. The result is strength through flexibility, because the alchemized material becomes so malleable it is less easily destroyed. And then from the Sun to the Ace of Cups, from the Sun to the Cup. Is it annealing the Pentacle? Visible in the foreground after the threshold is the hand of one of the annealer's faithful attendants. Upon the hand is perched a raven. To some keepers, the raven will appear white. To others, the raven will appear black. To guard certain types of journeys, it is the white raven that will appear by your side. For others, it will be the black raven. The raven here is the keeper's guardian spirit, protecting you through your transitions and journeys between worlds. Thus, Key Zero, the keeper card, is a talisman for safe astral or physical travel through the other realms. The two rosebuds from Key Zero, the seeker, are now in full bloom and hanging from the top two corners of the card. Just below each are white doves, and at the bottom foreground rising is a third, the presence of the Holy Triune, the many names of the Holy Spirit. The dove also calls to mind the Ace of Chalices, pretending a divine prophecy to the keeper. And we saw in the Three of Chalices, each of those ladies were getting their own divine prophecy, and the Ace of Chalices, Ace of Cups, is right here. And there's the raven descending to the crow. Words here as sigils and commands are inscribed upon the two pillars. Upon the left pillar, top to bottom, King in Old Persian cuneiform, Luminescence in Chinese Oracle bone script, Journey in bone script, Path or Road in Egyptian hieroglyphics, Path or Teachings in Oracle bone script, Spirit in Oracle bone script, and Earth in cuneiform. Upon the right pillar, top to bottom, God in Old Persian cuneiform, Benevolence in Chinese Oracle bone script, Fate or Destiny in bone script, the Divine Right Eye of Ra or Uchat in Egyptian hieroglyphics, the Divine Left Eye of Ra, Ka, priest or shaman in hieroglyphics, Keeper or Guardian in Oracle bone script, Open or Commencement in Oracle bone script, and an ideograph in cuneiform that would be pronounced with a B sound. Beta, one of the earliest alphabetical letters in human history over 3,000 years ago. The letter means house. This is the mystic fool, a spirit and petition of spirit. Use the keeper as. Okay, yeah. So that's basically it. That's basically the keeper. With the discerning one. Mars and Aries, Sun and Aries. And it's interesting how those two pillars almost sort of form these two wands here. But that's also the high priestess, right? The high priestess has two pillars. I mean, there are a few cards. I think justice might have two pillars depicted in a lot of decks. I forgot to I Ching. It ain't too late. So it was, I'll do fire over water. Three of Cups over the Three of Wands over the Three of Cups. In a memento. Here we go. Oh, wait. Is that fire over water? Yep, fire over water is I Ching number 64. Fire over water is I Ching number 64, the last in the I Ching and its climax. There was a card that mentioned the denouement. I think it was it had to be in the alchemy, the Wild Unknown alchemy deck. But I think the denouement is like that escalation right before the climax. Reaching toward an end, the climax. What is to be has not yet come to pass, but as you ford the river, where's that Five of Cups? Because it was like the pentagram across the river. As you ford the river, you see the banks on the other side. You are about to peak in the situation at hand, but know that after every peak, there comes a time of stagnation and then an inevitable decline. No one is above regulation. There is an order that every one of us must follow, a higher authority that each one of us must submit to. When you forget that, then that is the start of the decline. Remember, reaching the top is only the halfway point. And then I want to see if it reads the same in the book of maps for the Revelations. Let's see, probably. What is to be has not yet come to pass, but as you ford the river, you see the banks on the other side. You are about to peak in the situation at hand, but know that after every peak, there comes a time of stagnation and then an inevitable decline. No one is above regulation. There is an order that every one of us must follow, a higher authority that each one of us must submit to. When you forget that, then that is the start of the decline. Remember, reaching the top is only the halfway point. I think that line might be a little different. There is an order that every one of us must follow. No, yeah, it's the same in this one too. There is an order that everyone must follow, a higher authority that each one of us must submit to. So it's basically like don't get full of yourself. You know what I mean? In a way that causes you to act out of order. Because it's just as the good Lord giveth, the good Lord can also taketh away. I was gonna say taketh it away. Interesting, interesting. So there is both like a shared collective vision journey, but also an individual one because it came out between both the Three of Cups and the Three of Wands, and it's in this deck in the Suit of Wands. Um, the three wise men come together to receive a prophecy on who the future king will be. And that's what the competition in the Five of Wands is to determine. And then a princess is crowned in the Six of Wands. It's a princess when they thought it would be a prince. So there's a certain fluidity, flexibility where we might receive in part and in peace, but when things come, oh, it's literally right here. I don't know why I kept looking for the rest of the cards. When things come to full fruition, it might be a little different than we thought it would be. And so I guess it'll be important to not necessarily fight it and to go with that flow, right? It's like, well, I was told that it would be a yellow Cadillac, and it ended up being a blue Escalade. I don't know cars. So basically, this new moon, whatever you receive to do, it's a time to do it. Inspired action, prophetic dreams, tapping into the other side, tapping into the seed of all creation. It's being taught by the divine. Hey. Then we have the Nine of Wands. We've seen every nine except the Nine of Swords. But the Nine of Spades was out at the bottom. So we've seen every nine. So there's like conclusions being reached in multiple spaces, spots, areas, and scenarios. The 10th Pentacle we saw and the 10th Cup we saw, both in the Ace of Cups and in that Page of Cups. But there's something within the self. It's like that piece, internal piece, is going to be prime. Because that's what that Five of Pentacles, the grotesque, was all about. The clouds are blowing in front of the sun. This Nine of Wands is interesting. I'll probably read it. Oh, and then look, the Eight of Wands is at the bottom of the deck. So it's like the crow receives all of these wands and has to like put them in position. And then there's this ninth wand. And it's like, well, what do I do with the ninth wand? That ninth wand is the Ace of Wands. But I don't know if it's going to come at a time and in a way where there's already so much obligation that we have that we don't even know where to put it. Or it's like, we receive the energy and the passion to carry out whatever it is that it's going to be on our minds, souls, hearts to do with that, whatever the energy of receiving the prophetic dreams and stuff. It's just like make sure we follow through or not. It's your life, your choices. After much effort, a final task is almost complete. The Nine of Wands denotes a struggle in finishing a project, and despite the consistent successes of the past, there is one last obstacle that needs to be accomplished before moving forward. The Nine of Wands offers encouragement to keep going. Take a moment to bask in all that you have already created. It is from this place you will find the motivation to continue. You are close to the end. This is not the time to give up after working so hard. Replace the negative feeling or resentment with an open mind and visualize a successful completion. That just it reminds me that like the Nine of Wands has been coming out a lot in the Wild and Known Tarot, with that moon sort of sitting at the top of all of it. I'm like, here it is. I was like, I literally just picked up the box because I was looking for a box. Numa, yay. Numa, yay. Oh, gosh. No, not the weave. Ooh, it's fine. What does that song even mean? I don't know. I know Kanye sampled it, I think. I was like, that's the Numa song. I think. Maybe not. I could be wrong. Okay. Ooh, that was quick. The New Pearl, Margarita Preciosa, number 45. This is a 45-9. Margarita Preciosa. And then we have Solutio, Dissolution, and Jupiter. Number 6 and number 45? No, 65. LXV, yeah, 65. Number 6 and number 65. Jupiter and Solutio. This is the opposite of one of the cards. It wasn't Coagula, was it? Coagula? Or Coagulation? I don't. Sparks of Light, or maybe it was. I'm like, where's the book? We'll read Solutio. 65 LXV. No, it wasn't Coagulatio. It was one of these, though. Which card was it? It should be in this family. Because it looked like this, but it was the opposite. Oh, Sublimatio. Sublimation. That's what it was. And I think pile 2 might have gotten. No, that was pile 1. Because pile 1 was like going directly from solid to gas, like skip liquid. But they were like, but you have to go to liquid. And it's like, but you don't have to. Other people might have to. It might be on their paths and journeys to go through the liquid phase because maybe there's something for them to learn in that. But you go directly from solid to liquid. This is also the dove descending into the Ace of Cups, right? Ace of Cups imagery. Interesting. Solutio is the great alchemical operation of water. It represents the form becoming formless, that which is solid dissolving into liquid. In many alchemical texts, it is the first operation and summarizes the heart of alchemy, as in the axiom solve et coagula, dissolve to unite. For our purposes, it is important to know Solutio involves the dissolving of definitions, identities, and labels. The strongholds of the ego drown in the emotional realm of water. We dive back to the beginning, the prima materia. This operation is humbling and disorienting, and oftentimes feels as though the self we knew has disappeared. Who are we now? How will others describe us? When these questions are afoot, the alchemical magic of Salutio is underway. By surrendering to the waves, we unite with the primordial essence and return to our deepest self. That makes me think of the. It's a card in here. I haven't put the. Oh, I ain't used it. I ain't put it away yet. So we're gonna look before and after that card. It's a dissolution of the self, because I was going through. I was using the SKT Vitruvian edition, and the Archangel of Healing came out with, I think, the Ace of Cups, and it was that spiritual dissolution tank. It's like we get into it, we dissolve, we see what is us, we see what's not us, we see what's been projected on us that we sort of have carried. We see different parts of our light and we see different parts of our shadow. And the thing is to collect all of us, both light and shadow. Some things we'd rather be able to blame on others. Here it is, taking the plunge into an ice cold tank, dissolution of the self, integration, separation. It's the Seven of Swords. It's in between material intervention, the coming of spring, mastering the game of life, and an abrupt change of season, the vision catching up to fantasy, the filling of valleys and falling of mountains. So the coming of spring and an abrupt change of season, both here on either side. Interesting. And it's the Seven of Spades, which is like Seven of Swords energy. What is the Seven of Spades? I think I still have the thing pulled up. I'm going to get it real quick. Yep, it's right here. The Seven of Spades is the letter. It's the letter. So it's not necessarily the full story, but it's just enough to get us to ask questions. And then Jupiter is here. So there's an expansion that we can only reach in first going through this process of dissolution. And I feel like if that's the case, it's because there's something that we're holding on to that is keeping us from growing, or it's keeping us from getting to where we're going next. It's almost like counterproductive to what we're doing, even if we think it is helping us. I think another reason why dissolution would come out with expansion is because it's almost like it's an opportunity for us to get to know what really matters, right? It's like if we chase cars and luxury clothes and stuff like that, and that does nothing for us as people, then we won't find much fulfillment in the attainment of it. Now, for some people, it does something for them. Some people like collect certain cars for a reason because it means something to them. Some people really love luxury watches, right? We're all different. We all have different things. And for some people, it could be a incorrect sort of assessment of who they are necessarily by judging them as vain or whatever, because that's what they choose to pursue in life. If it does something for them, if it brings them joy and happiness, then that's their prerogative. It's their journey, it's their peace, and it's their happiness. But it doesn't do that for all of us. Not all of us sort of crave the same things. Not all of us are fulfilled by the same things. And so going by someone else's standard of beauty, happiness, success, abundance, whatever, again, if it's not for you, it's not going to do anything for you. So the dissolution is to prepare you so that when you come into a season of abundance, or when you receive a certain amount of resources, you can put that towards something that will actually give you what it is that you're looking for. So that's sort of leading us back into that full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus with the Volte Fatium, the whatever face, the face that we hide. Because if we keep seeking other things to mask that, limited returns is what we're going to get. I thought a card flipped over. I really thought a card flipped over. Guess not. Oh, it fell out. A strong will and open heart, all things taken into account, the Ace of Clubs. This one might be the Sun. Or is it the Ring? Well, we know it's not the woman. The Ace of Clubs is the ring. It's the ring. A strong will and open heart, all things taken into account. Bottom of the deck is stripped bare, a game of charades, a day with no mirrors. Here's the 9 of Clubs, 9 of Wands. There's the Ace to make it 10. Stripped bare, a day with no mirrors, so we have to face ourselves as ourselves. And then this strong will and open heart. It's a beautiful energy. It's really gorgeous, but it doesn't necessarily seem like it's the easiest for someone to get into. Um, but if you in it and if you there, woo, buckle up and prepare. So, with all that being whatever, I hope you all have an amazing whatever. Whenever you see this, I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. Thank you, K2 and Holly and Steph, for stopping through. And Bluebeak Rose, girl, I ain't forget you. Excuse me, I'm going to go to bed as well. So, interesting times coming. And the challenge has all been a part of getting us to see or uncover facets, things about ourselves that we may not have either, like we didn't necessarily. Oh, what happened there? Either we didn't necessarily know about it or we never really gave ourselves the opportunity to explore. So then we got the opportunity. And it's to prepare us in many ways, both for the things that we'll do when we get there, but also to maintain it and also to continue to grow it, because it's going to be living and organic just like everything else. It's meant to grow and evolve and change and mature, right? There are a few things that are meant to stay as they are at their conception and inception throughout their entire lifetimes. I believe. I could be very wrong though. And again, that's for me. Right? Those are my views. That's my opinion. Find your truth. Live by that. And until you find it, take it as it resonates. Use your intuition and discernment. Hone, develop, mature your intuition and discernment as best you can. And may you find yourself somewhere beautiful, if that's what you desire. If not, may you find yourself exactly where you want to be. Good night.